It's early Friday evening and you join me at Carp Fishery in the Cotswolds. Now this is just a stone's throw from me, and I've got 24 hours at my disposal to see if I can nick myself a fish out of this small 2-acre intimate little lake. Now believe it or not, I am the only one down here until tomorrow evening, so I have got the pick of 5 swims. At the moment I am stood in one of the swims in which I've been told by the owner of Carp Fishery it is one of the most popular swims on the lake. Now I can see why, because there is a massive bed of weed out there, and just walking round to the other side of the lake is pretty apparent why this is a very favourable swim. There are a number of carp milling around the in and out of the weed beds, and making the most of this glorious sun that we've got tonight. I think what I'm going to do is pretty much just map out the lake from each of the 5 swims. So if I kind of map this sort of topography of the lake out now, then any return visits I'll have a good idea kind of about the depths and stuff like that out in front of each swim. The deeper setup, see if we can start mapping out what's going on down there, and then we can think about a little plan of attack. First and foremost, let me just apologise for possibly the background noise that you may hear throughout this video. We're very busy dual carriageway behind us that runs pretty much parallel with Carp Pool, so yeah, I apologise for the road traffic noise in advance. Now it's probably the best part of an hour and a half since we last spoke, and I have pretty much mapped out the 5 swims really, so it's pretty apparent that it's pretty weedy, that's a given. But what I found with a deeper is that it's quite an egg box out there. It goes up and down. It's 20 foot of water, 5 foot of weed in places. I think it was even pushing, my memory serves me right, 21 foot in places. As you can imagine, it just kind of slopes off from both sides, far margin and this side, right down into those sort of depths, and that just runs pretty much throughout the middle of the lake. Now what I have found is that basically in this swim here, it's pretty much the second one down from sort of like the top ends, and the 4th one down from sort of like the entrance end. I'm not quite sure how the numbers work. So along that far margin there is a really nice 4 foot sort of marginal shelf that is probably about half a rod length sort of wide, if that. So it comes off at 4 foot, gets gradual down 6, 7, 8 foot, and then as you come down into this main central part of the water, that is when it starts hitting those 15 to 21 foot depths. Now what I've done is, like I say, I've chucked the deeper over with the spod rod, clipped it up so it's just kind of touching up against the reed line. There is a sort of weed bed as well here, so I was just pinging it all along this far margin, and I've found, like I say, it's a sort of 4 foot shelf before it starts to slowly then gradual drop off 6, 7, 8 into the like I say, the main bulk of the depths in the middle there. But then what I've done, got a couple of rods out. They already had leads on them, obviously from my solid bags from my last session. I flicked them over, slowly sort of clipped them up until I got to the distance that I want, and I've dropped them straight onto that sort of 4 foot shelf. Now they are going down with an almighty thud, so they are clean, really clean, and I'm pulling the lead back and giving it a sweep. As I'm reeling, I'm just sweeping it along the bottom, and those leads are coming back with nothing attached to them whatsoever. As it starts to drop down, it gets a bit cloggier, so I'm really liking the look of this far margin for 2 of the rods. Now I don't want to go forgetting about these margins either. They are best part of sort of 9-10 foot, so I've just kind of dropped a lead off this margin, and again that is really clean, really clear. As you can see, there is literally little sporadic pockets of weed here and there, but down here I don't want to, like I say, just go slinging all 3 over there. I found 2 really nice spots, I'm going to give one of the rods a go down the margin as well. Before I knock this final solid bag up, I'm just going to talk you through how I got it set up. Exactly the same as in my last video, exactly the same as pretty much every other one of my videos when I'm using solid bags. So got sort of a foot and a half of tungsten tube in there, solid bag stem, 2.5 ounce inline flat pair, down to a quick change swivel. Then on all 3 rods I'm going my ever faithful solid bag, real simple knotless knot rig, and 3 pink sea monster wafters. Now these are my go-to hook bait on solid bags. I'm going to risk it and go all out pink on this session. So the 2 going over to the far margin, and the 1 just going down to this tree to my left. They're all going out on exactly the same, and like I said, they're all going out on exactly the same hook bait. Got the utmost confidence in those, so fingers crossed they do me a bite. All 3 rods now out, 2 over to the far margin there. They went out absolutely bang on, couldn't fault them, went out first cast. So yeah, I really can't complain, to be quite honest with you. Really happy with those, as I showed you, both on solid bags. So they are just going to sit pretty. I'm just going to drop sort of 3 spoms over each of the far rods, so 3 on each, with some of the Royal Marine and Creamino boilie pellet. Now this stuff is great just for creating a carpet feed. They're just brittle boilie sticks, and you can just crush them down in your hand into all different shapes and sizes, and yeah, they'll just create a nice little, like I say, a nice little carpet feed, ooze in masses of attraction. And then what I'll probably do as well, in here I have some Creamino and Royal Marine shelf life boilies, super soft as you can see, literally crumb down in between your fingers with minimum force, so soft. So what I'm going to do, as you can see in the spom there, just do boilie pellet and a few crushed down boilies, just do 3 over the top of each rod. Hopefully then that will be enough bait on that far margin reed line to hopefully catch any fish that are just cruising up and down that sort of 4-foot shelf, hopefully dragging them down onto the spot and sucking up my sea monster wafter in the meantime. So let's get a few of these out, then that's everything done. I can just concentrate on getting the house up and chilling out for the rest of the night. Sun is just setting. just over the back of me. The traffic is slowly starting to die down, and it's around sort of 10 o'clock now, so just going to do my quick final check before I'll just jump myself onto the bed chair. Check that the alarms are all on. I think I'm just going to get an early night tonight, ready to be up at the crack of dawn and make the most of tomorrow. So I've got till 5 PM tomorrow, so if nothing happens in here overnight, I think we're possibly due a 50-50 rain shower first thing in the morning, and then I might go looking for a bit of a stalk. There's a few little options around the far peg. There's a couple of different swims, and I did see fish moving in and out of the big weed beds up there, so it might be worth, like I say, going to drop a rod in and doing a bit of stalking. So I'm going to leave it there. If anything happens through the night, I will get the camera out, obviously. If not, we'll catch up in the morning and reassess the situation. 3:30 in the morning, and that margin rod has gone rattling off. Absolute one tone. I was scrambling for my trainers, and you're never going to believe it, we got one in the net. Now, amongst a absolute ton of weed, it must have took off at a rate and knocked straight into one of the big weed beds down there. But down there, nice common. He, as I was trying to clear out the weed from the net, he actually tried to even jump out of the net as I was kind of just parting the weeds to actually see if he was still in there. Trying to net it was an absolute nightmare with this lot. It was literally, I didn't even know if it was on, to be quite honest. I didn't even know if it was still there. But with all that lot, I literally just had to scoop the net underneath and hope for the best. But he is down there all right, so I'm going to get everything sorted, try and unravel absolutely all of this lot. We can get him out and have a look at our prize. Well, here's the reward then of sticking that rod in the margin. This lovely little common went off at 100 miles an hour straight into that weed bed. I just spent the last sort of 5 minutes trying to get it all out so I could actually reveal my prize. But yeah, I've been having liners from about 1:30, between sort of 1:30 and 2. I had 3 separate liners, and I was fully expecting it to go a lot sooner. But look at him, what a lush looking common, nice and dark along its back. Oh, well happy with that one. I'll just flip it around and show you the other side. But he is immaculate, absolutely immaculate. Look at the colours on it, so dark along its back, and that is typical of what you will find in the Cotswolds. Incredible looking fish, regardless of size, and always in pristine condition. So my ever faithful Sea Monster pink wafter hook baits from Baitworks, doing the do again. Well happy with him. Going to just reel off some snaps and we'll get him back to his watery home. It's about 5:30 now, second cup of coffee of the morning, and yeah, I'm absolutely shattered. Don't know if you can tell by the background, minus the cars, the rain shower that we was expecting has arrived, so I think I'm just going to stay put underneath the brolly for the next hour or two and try and come around to the world. But yeah, it's looking good for a bite. I fully expected that margin rod to go, but I was expecting it to go a lot sooner than 3:30, just because of the fact that I was getting liners for a good half an hour or so. So yeah, I was expecting it to rattle off a lot sooner, but I'm not complaining. It went in the end, and that's all that matters. So yeah, it went back down there. I'm going to neck this
lay back down on the bed chair for an hour or so, see how the morning progresses, and then decide what I want to do, whether I want to go seeing if there's an opportunity elsewhere, or I might just stay put. So we'll see how the next few hours pan out and make our decision from there. So I've had all the rods in, 2 of them already gone back out, 3rd one, solid bag, is made, ready to go back over to that far margin. So sticking with what got me the bite in the margin. So solid bag crammed full of the pellet mini mix, pink sea monster wafter tucked down in the corner there, just a case of flicking that one out. I've wrapped it up already and then getting myself some breakfast on the go. Oh wow, it's just sat there on the bed chair. It started to drizzle again, and then it stopped, and then the rod rattled off, and we got a really small little common in there. Really weird bite. I wasn't too sure what it was to start with. I thought it might have been a few birds that had been milling up and down that far margin, but yeah, we got another one on the solid bag off that 4-foot shelf before it drops off into that deeper water. So what a right result. That's the reward of redoing those rods this morning. Perfect, scale perfect, little bar of gold, and yeah, welcome on a drizzly morning. That was taken off one of the bags that I chucked over to the far margin, like I say, this morning after just freshening them up. And I'm not going to complain, it's another bite from another area, and just goes to show that all my sort of homework yesterday and just going about trying to find features and stuff like that is paid off. So yeah, this was off that 4-foot shelf on the opposite margin. Happy days. Where there's one, there's got to be more. To the last hour of the session. The rods are still out, but everything else is packed down, just needing to be loaded onto the barrow. Just trying to dry the mat off and stuff like that, really. Nothing else has materialised after that little common this morning. If anything, the coots have found my baited spot and are absolutely mullering me. Now a couple of anglers have turned up for their session, so I've told them one of them can jump in here if they want to, pointed out a couple of spots that I've had the fish from, etc. and just give them a few pointers really as to how I've approached it and what's worked with those 2 fish that I've caught. So if you've got this far, thanks for watching. It's been an enjoyable little 24 hours, to be fair. It was only going to be a recce session, but yeah, I didn't expect to catch, but it's nice to put 2 fish on the bank. So it's certainly a venue that I'll be coming back to. It's certainly one that ticks the boxes for me. Intimate, some real stunning fish, weedy, overgrown, just feels really mature, and yeah, sort of 2 minutes from where I live, so can't go wrong. As always, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, give me some comments, come and say hello on any of my social media. It's always good to hear from you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and we'll catch up next time I am out on the bank.